Good morning, traders. Welcome to today's market review. This is Razak at CMTrading. Today is January 31st, 2023, and today is Tuesday morning. So looking at the highlights of the day, the markets retrace ahead of the FOMC's rate statement. That's the Central Bank of the United States. Tomorrow is coming out with its interest rate decision. And then we're going to hit a tidal wave of economic data towards the end of the week. Now, today, there's nothing scheduled in terms of major economic events, but as we look at the various markets, starting out with the Forex symbols, we're watching the US dollar gain and strengthen versus the Australian dollar. As we look at the indices, the Dow Jones and the NASDAQ both sold off yesterday and retraced. Now, looking at commodities, both gold and oil taper lower and sell off. And also looking at the stocks across the board, we saw a sell-off. Now, lastly, looking at Bitcoin, also dipping below 23K. So let's take a look at the markets and see what we can expect from today's trading. So here we go. We're taking a look at the Australian dollar, and you can see the last couple of days, all we've done is just retrace after hitting this double top retracement and resistance levels. So that's an important area that we retrace. Now, how much further can we go? Okay, so the exhaustion of the move could get to 69.87, and we're not that far away from it, about 30 to 40 pips. So, altogether, that's my next point of entry on the upside if it does retrace to that level. Now, looking at the USD Canadian dollar, also getting weaker versus the dollar, not by much, okay, but it's been trading in a range, but not doing much here, okay. It's trading in a very tight range, not big activity. If we look at the Euro USD, you could see quite clearly that it's just been really very choppy. I mean, those days of going from 97 to 109, we're at the end of that move, okay. You could see that. Okay, we've been consolidating here for the past 3 weeks, somewhere all the way up to 109.50-ish level and somewhere to 108.40-ish level. So we've been in a tight range for 3 weeks of trading for the Euro USD relatively to what it's done over the past, I would say, year, okay, from February of last year until now. So keep that in mind, as that has really just been a decent consolidation at this area. Now, looking at commodities, gold retraced to 1915, broke that 1938-ish level, and retracing. Okay, that's completely understandable. If we look at a daily, we could probably get back to the 1900-ish level easy. Okay, that would be my first line of support. And if we continue to sell off, my next line of support is somewhere in the 1878-ish level. So just keep that in mind, as this has really, for the first time, broken its 8-day moving average for quite some time. Okay, so it could be a fake out sell-off, but keep an eye on it. Okay, because if it does continue to sell off, we could get back to the 50% of it. Now, looking at crude oil, we're trading right now at $77 as it's further declined from the previous day's trading session, and it's getting a little bit weaker, going into tomorrow's FOMC and going into the OPEC meetings, all that. So we're in a choppy range. Okay, we're still in that range between $82 and $71. We're still considered at the upper range of it, even though we've broken the 30-day moving average here. But just keep in mind that we're still range-bound in trading. Now, jumping into the U.S. markets, the Dow Jones did retrace just a little bit, not a lot, but did retrace from the past couple of days from 34,000 to 33,800-ish level. But again, it's choppy trading. It's really choppy trading until tomorrow gets more clarity as to which way the markets will go. Now, the NASDAQ did sell off a little bit more aggressively here, and that's because the tech stocks did take some money off the table. So specifically, okay, Facebook, which was the strongest one on Friday, was the one that sold off decently, okay, about $7 from last Friday. Okay, so that's a decent move for Facebook on the downside. If we look at the other major techs, 142 for Apple, which did retrace, not by much again, but by little. Microsoft also just trickling down here to 242. So you see that weakness just linger on. Intel also sold off and didn't fill in that gap, okay, which I was suspecting that it might, okay, and it didn't, okay. So at this level, it means that it may revisit the $27 when it gapped down to. It may still do that. Now, lastly, looking at Bitcoin, trading at 22,971, did retrace below that 23,000 after a really decent run, okay, over the past couple of weeks, I would say. And so this is something to consider going into today's session and tomorrow's session. We may see further decline here on Bitcoin as it's making corrections. So, really quiet before the storm. FOMC rate statement is coming out tomorrow night, and then we have Apple coming out with its earning reports and a bunch of other GBPs coming out with its refinancing rate later this week, and so is the euro on Thursday. So lots coming up before this number, so I don't expect the markets to be directional. I expect it to be with lack of direction over the course of the next day and a half, until we get the FOMC giving us clarity and also the CPI coming number. So there's lots of stuff coming out here that will affect the market after the next couple of days. This is Fed Razak. I want to wish you guys a great trading day. Thank you.